Yes.
Ebro in the morning, Laura Styles, Rosenberg, and DJ Mars. What's up, brother? How you, son?
Hey.
Now, Mars has been very active in radio DJing out of Atlanta for a long time. You're from Atlanta, right? From originally, or?
I'm originally from Springfield, Massachusetts.
Got it.
That's my hometown. I went to Atlanta in '91 to go to college. Went to and graduated from Clark Atlanta University.
Clark was so popping in '91.
Still is, man.
Yeah, but '91, man.
Man, I love that school. So that's what brought me to Atlanta, CAU. So I graduated, and then like most people, we stay in Atlanta.
Talk close to the mic for me.
You know what I mean? Like most people, they get to Atlanta and they stay there.
Yeah.
So after I graduated, got the degree.
So comfortable there.
Is it ever? Like, I don't know how y'all do it up here. The cost of living, I don't know how. It's extremely comfortable in Atlanta. Extremely comfortable.
So Mars, let's start Clark Atlanta 1991. I just want to hear the stories. Who was on campus on a regular basis in hip hop during that time?
Lil Jon. He used to do this party called the OE and Chicken Jam. Like people don't know, like they say, yo, Lil Jon's a DJ. He's always been a DJ.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He was one of the popping DJs in the college scene. He didn't go to school there, but he was always there.
A lot of people didn't go to school there and it was on campus.
A whole bunch of them. I would say Shaka Zulu, Ludacris's manager. He went to CAU, but so prominent names at that time, it was those two guys. Lil Jon had the college scene on fire in the 90s.
Wow. Could you imagine without just those dudes on campus and what they eventually became in hip hop out of Atlanta?
Well, it's crazy. And isn't at around the same time, it was shortly thereafter, Drama went down there too, right?
Yeah, I mean, I can go on. So those are the big names. Brian Barber, big film director. He and I lived in a dorm together, 91, 92, and whatnot. The twins from Jagged Edge, Brian Michael Cox, super producer. Bobby V went to Clark. Then Drama came. Drama and Sense came around the same time. And then Don Cannon, I think, is a year or two behind them. So a lot of what's going on in Atlanta right now, hip-hop wise, Clark gave birth to a lot of it. The party scene, like the way people party now, was from the energy that Clark created.
Well, it's funny.
on campus.
You mentioned, what was the party called? You said Chicken OE?
Yeah, OE and Chicken Jam.
Those parties are on fleek now. Like everyone is all about having these.
Well, they got the chicken and biscuit.
Gravy and chicken and everyone's having booze and chicken at their parties now, and that's 20 years old. From Clark.
I got Lil Jon. I got to give it to him. Him and Cersei. I got to give it to them. They were one of the first ones that I saw using that moniker back in the day.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, so out of that Clark Atlanta, you being on campus in 1991, how did you get to the radio station? Because that was your next thing, was to the radio station for you.
Yeah, so the transmission was Shaka Zulu used to do this show on 89.3 WRFG. And so me and my man DJ Trauma, we were like the campus DJs.
Love Trauma, man.
So we moved. So when Shaka moved to RFG, he moved us over there. I think the show was called The Sound Room, and it was like the illest hip-hop show. Imagine Stretch and Bobbito's show in Atlanta. You know what I mean? So when artists would come through, like Boot Camp Click would come through, Tupac would come through, anybody on the real underground scene in the early 90s would come through Shaka's show. So Shaka always had his hands in what was going on in the music industry before I knew there was an industry. You know what I mean? So a lot of what we did was basically through what Shaka created to some extent. So from 89.3, I went from there to 107.9, which was Hot 97.5. That was a station that Ludacris is on. I was the DJ for his show on Friday nights, Future Flavors. His co-host, Poon, and I were classmates. So
Poon Daddy, Chris Lover,
exactly.
DJ Mars.
A lot of what happens in Atlanta came through the colleges. A lot of it.
So now you're on the radio, and so at what point did DJ Mars go, okay, let's get this mixtape thing going?
The book, exactly, that came about 8 years ago. The funny story is I was watching the History Channel, and they had a show called, I think it was called The History Of, and they did a show on the history of Welch's grape juice. On paper, that does not sound super exciting, but the show was super interesting. It just broke down how the company got founded and whatnot. So I was sitting there like, there needs to be a story about hip-hop. Like, what is the untold hip-hop story? And I was like, no one's ever told a story about the history of mixtapes. And that's exactly exactly where the idea came from.
And so you never were heavy in creating mixtapes yourself?
I did tapes, but I can't say that I'm a mixtape DJ. I'm a party DJ first. Like
okay.
I'm Kid Capri, like Clark Kent.
Yes.
Like that's
your style.
That's my style. First, I made tapes, but I can't say in disrespect
because that was a specific type of DJ.
Yes, but the party DJ is a dude that rock every weekend, all the time. Like that's what he did. The mixtape guy, he was like a point guard. Like he was a basketball player, but he was a different type of basketball player.
That's right. What's the title of the book?
Title of the book is called The Art Behind the Tape.
And are the hats for sale too?
Yeah, on our website. Yeah, I like that plug. Yeah, you go to the website, you can get the book and the hat, theartbehindthetape.com.
You got the book over there, Rosenberg. I haven't thumbed through it yet. What do you see?
I'm thumbing through as we speak.
The forward is by Kid Capri, and I love how he covers everything, though. He has, let me see, this part right here that I like. He covers from exclusive to artists, blends, drops, cover art, personalities.
Now, for you, Mars, you looking at mixtapes today. I mean, there's websites and they say mixtapes are not actually tapes, and most of them aren't even actually mixed. And wait a minute, DJs aren't even actually putting them together. They're artists putting them together.
Yo, how crazy is that?
And
there's not one thing that's the same. A mixtape is not a mix,
nor a tape,
not a tape.
And
not even a DJ.
Not even be involved.
It may not be a DJ.
How about that?
Do you have a perspective on that?
Well, I mean, you can't be mad at the evolution. Things are going to change.
I mean, you can. I
spend lots of time being mad at the evolution.
But then you'll end up being
you're just a hater.
Yeah, the jaded old man. So do I like the way that it's going? To some extent, no. To some extent, yes. I like the way technology has involved itself and the way a tape can get out there. No longer do you have to be in New York to get your tape out globally.
That's right.
Like when I say globally, you could drop a tape off. You used to be able to drop a tape off on Canal Street and your tape would be overseas before you got on the plane to go home. Now it's the click of the button. So I'm not mad at that. The DJ is not DJing, not mixing. That's another conversation. I think that's whack because you have all this technology that makes it actually easier to mix, and you're not mixing on a quote-unquote mixtape. I think that's whack.
I do have a theory that things are coming back around. And we'd have to salute to, in some degree, the performance electronic festival DJ that's going out in a way, because even though some of those guys doing that aren't DJing either, they're taking pre-produced things, jumping on stage and acting like they're DJing. To some degree, the way you put your set together is slowly coming back to a thing, and being different is slowly coming back to being a thing. Meaning, in a strip club or a regular club, the set may be the same every weekend. You go in there, they say to play the same records, people will turn up, it's in the same order. Like, I hear that. And the average person going to have a good time may not be hearing that, right?
You know what I think where the problem with that is the audience. Like the average hip-hop audience, the average, not the underground, the average hip-hop audience only wants to hear what they know.
That's right.
Right? But the EDM audience, they want you to take them. It's almost like a come to Jesus situation. They're coming to the situation to let you control what they do. A lot of it has to do with the drugs, but the fact that their mind is open, but as opposed to a hip hop party, you go there and at 10 o'clock, they're like, play Future. And you're like, yo, it's 10 o'clock. Like, you ain't even drunk yet. How you requesting Drunken Love?
Wait for it.
Yeah, let me take you on a ride. Like, you came here to tell me what to do? Like, how are you going to do that?
That's very interesting.
That's super whack. Super extreme.
And they are very open. You're right. That crowd, whether it's the drugs or not, they want the DJ to take them on a journey.
Yeah. And
now it helps to add some pyro. Spend $20,000 on pyro.
Yeah.
Lasers. And robots, and explosions.
Some drugs.
Some drugs, some cakes, things like that. But still.
But my point was that at least there is a culture that's bubbling. I mean, it's huge, but that's becoming more prevalent even in the mainstream world and the hip hop world, because that EDM thing is starting to come back to us a little bit now, as it should. And that take me on a journey thing. There's still parties in New York. They don't happen frequently. They're not every week, but there's still parties here where you go and it is about the DJ curating an experience.
Exactly.
That's dope.
Same thing in Atlanta. Like I think in all the major cities across the country, there's that underground current that's still moving, but the pop side of hip-hop, the pop side of partying is generic.
Are you still doing those type of parties, or are you trying to become more of a specialized kind of underground dude again? Like, where's your passion at right now?
I do a little bit of everything. The pop parties pay the bills.
That's right.
The passion parties are the themed parties that me and my team does. So I make sure my hands are in everything, because you can't stay. You can't stay on one side of the fence, regardless of what side of the fence you're on. Like if you look at DJ A-Track, super huge EDM guy, but he will come tear your hip hop club down in a heartbeat. And I segued him because he's in the book.
Right.
Of course he is.
Diplo's the same.
Exactly.
You throw Diplo in a reggae set or a hip hop set.
He will body it. He will body it.
Tear it to shreds.
He will body it.
I need this this DJ Clue tape from, it doesn't say the year, but it looks
Which
like,
one is that?
It feels like 94. This one just said, it's Summertime Part 2, The Aftermath.
Got you.
What's on it?
Mars, you cut. Okay,
Wait, hold on. What's on it?
Fast Life, Cool G Rap and Nas, which was amazing. Incarcerated Scarfaces. Fuck Bitches Get Money by Junior Mafia. So you know it was brand fucking new.
That was the original.
Early.
Guillotine, Raekwon Ghostface. How High remix. It's a Shame remix. Cool G Rap. I can live with that one. Love You G Rap. That's not my favorite one.
Not at all.
Live by Onyx. Not my favorite Onyx song, but
But
you know
it'll do.
It'll do.
He's from Queens. I see why he put it on there.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I still played it at the time, but Wu Gambinos.
Yep.
So so this must be summer '96. This is all the Cuban Link stuff.
Exactly what it sounds like.
Or '95. Sorry, because all the Cuban Link stuff. Tell Me, Groove Theory. Get Down Like That remix, Redman. The Game by the Lost Boys. Some of these songs I don't know. And by the way, I mean, this is one of the things that you'll go back with these mixtapes and reading about them in this book, is all these songs you don't remember because a lot of them were bootlegs and it just came out for a second.
And here's the cool thing, kids. You have the internet.
Exactly.
We didn't have that.
You can find most of these.
You can go search for these records, and I bet you somebody put them up.
Most of these songs.
You can find most of those tapes. Like back then, it was, especially in Atlanta, what made Atlanta special, our area is if you still had a homeboy that lived up here, he would send you a tape. And then the stores in Atlanta, there was like 2 or 3 mixtape spots in Atlanta that carried this flavor mixtapes. It was Tape Masters downtown, Fat Gear, which is downtown, and Earwax, which was in Midtown. That was basically how New York City DJs got their hands into Atlanta. It was those 3 stores. And then there was a store on campus. I forget the name of it that was popping, but it's those 3 stores that push mixtapes.
And so here in the book, not only are you going to have the artwork from the tape, the track listed from the tape, the date the tape came out. What else do we get when we get into the art behind the tape?
You get dope anecdotal stories from like legendary DJs, like telling their history, how they got into the game. I'll give you a couple real quick. Ron G told me, and this is in the book, he used to live across the street from the Rooftop Club, the famed Rooftop Club up in Harlem. He said he would sit outside his window, listen to Brucey B spin. That's how he learned how to DJ. So you got trend-setting DJ 1 actually spinning, trend-setting DJ 2 looking out his project window, listening to the Brucey B
he
rock.
can't even see Brucey B rock. He had to listen. He's not looking at a computer screen. He's not even in the club.
No, he's across the street at his mother's house. Like crazy. Dope story right there. Another dope story. Craig G said that Kumo D used to be his babysitter when he was a baby. Now imagine Kumo D, your baby. How are you not involved in hip hop if Kumo D is your babysitter?
Was there anybody that you missed that didn't make it to the book?
There was a couple people that we couldn't get due to scheduling. Like I love my man DJ Tony Touch. I wish we could have interviewed him. We got his artwork in the book, but we couldn't get the interview based on scheduling.
Toka Tuesdays.
I was hanging out with him last night.
So many of Tony Touch's mixtapes. They also they highlight Enough, and there's some great mixtape covers with Enough looking so crazy, and Cypher's in there looking like a ghost. He's like 100 pounds and super.
Cypher looks insane.
This picture of Envy, my G, that I want to show you.
Insane. Let me see Envy. Envy. Envy be looking insane.
These mixtape covers are so good.
Shout out to Envy. This is the old mixtape days. Envy looks nuts. Yeah, some of these pictures are amazing.
He looks like
Envy looks like Absolute.
Yeah, he does. With the uptown afro.
Yo, Absolute. You Envy related, my G.
This is hilarious. Yo, this book got so much good stuff, man. It really reminds you of, especially like how deep some people's roots are in the game too.
Yeah, we took our time. Like the process started 8 years ago, but I would say it was 2.5 years that we put the real concrete work into it, and this is what we came up with, man. 240 pages of I feel like that's the definitive book on mixtape history. There's a couple out there, but they don't go the direction we go. We interview everybody from DJ Hollywood, the Drama, to Kid Capri, to Green Lantern, to Brucey B, the DJ A-Track, to SNS, to Craig G. You know what I mean? It's like there is not a book out there
the DJ
like
Self Cypher Sounds tape.
I just saw that.
Because Self wanted to be at Hot. Right, that was the part of the whole plan, and then he got an offer and couldn't wait and went for it.
Well, how long ago was that tape from though?
This tape is.
I'm glad that you included Lazy K in there.
Oh, come on. In
had
the
to.
90s, she was so strong.
Yo,
Like,
Lazy K was so strong.
in the 90s, like, I would have lied if I didn't put her in
Yeah.
the book. Like, she used to come down to Atlanta and rock.
The tape cover, it has songs from B.I.G., Nori, Busta, Wu-Tang, DMX, Coco Brothers, so that had to be.
Oh, wow! I didn't even know. That's late '90s.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize Self was already making tapes back then.
Yeah.
Now, Self was hot. Like, one of my favorite Self tapes was Locke's Family Part 1 and Part 2. Like, those... Bad Boy should have hired him to put something together for
those
them.
was hard.
Those were
was
very
hard
hard. Very hard.
Did you get Camilo in there?
Yeah, Camilo's in there. Definitely. Like,
So what happens next? I mean, obviously the book is on. This is available now.
yeah, you can get it inside New York City. You can get it at Powerhouse Books in Brooklyn. Outside of New York, you can order it directly from our website, theartbehindthetape.com. I'm going to say it one more time, theartbehindthetape.com. You hit us, follow us on social media at artbehindtape. So the book is moving.
There it goes.
Yo, very cool, man.
Will there be a
Yeah,
documentary? Will
That's
there be?
exactly what's coming next. Funny story is the documentary was first because I wanted, remember I told you about the show on the History Channel. The idea was to do the documentary first. Takes a little bit of funding.
That's right.
You know what I
It's a little
mean?
harder.
You can't just wake up and say, I'm going to do a documentary unless you're rich, of course. So the documentary was first. That took time, so we put out the book to create some funding to do the documentary. So we've already started filming. We're probably 20 interviews in. The interviews that we've already knocked down are DJs based in Atlanta, obviously, because we're based here. But that's coming next. Like, this isn't going to be a DVD. This is going to be a full-on documentary. I want to make the mixtape community extremely proud with both projects, the book and the doc.
Mars, one question before we let you go. And I love asking this question. I've never really got to ask it on the show because we haven't interviewed a lot of legendary DJs that really came up in the 90s. Are there any regrets that DJ Mars has? Because I know there are DJs, right, who get to a certain point in their career and they were like, damn, I could have zigged, but I zagged. And I could have made a lot more money. And then there's DJs like, nah, fuck that. I wanted to, this is what I love, and I would rather do what I love than make a bunch of money. Does Mars have one of those stories where you were like, man, I coulda, shoulda, maybe if I, as a DJ?
I'm going to tell you two. The first one is summer of 92, I went home for my summer job from Atlanta back to Massachusetts. I was Outkast's original DJ at the time. This is the period before they got a record deal. Like, this is right, like, if they have a bio flick come out, this is a period right before they got the deal. The summer they signed, I went back home to my summer job on the Turnpike. Lost contact with them. I didn't have a cell phone back then. I did not have a pager. I was a college kid, regular college kid. I came back. These Andre and Antoine signed to LaFace Records. I'm out the picture. I was hurt because I saw like
throw up on yourself.
Oh man, did I ever I wanted to kill myself.
Damn, I don't even know if I can talk anymore.
Their first album, I would have been down with them from day one.
All right, well, that was a good one. What's the second one? I don't even want to know the second one. Yeah, President Obama asked me if I wanted to work with him.
The second one is I never really made mixtapes. And the funny thing, the reason why I never really got into making mixtapes is as a DJ, I didn't like my voice initially. I didn't like the way I sounded. So I would make a tape and be like, nah, man, I don't like the way I sound. So I never got into it. So you know, with all my energy that I created in Atlanta, if I made mixtapes and made that my thing, like I would be, to some extent, probably where Drama is in his career, because he and I kind of came up. But I left that door open and didn't attack it. And I see the value of DJs making tapes and how that puts their career where it is. So the irony, here I am writing a book about mixtapes, and I didn't want to make mixtapes because of my voice. And the funny thing is, it's my voice that gets me the tour work with the artists that I work with. But I didn't like it, so I never made tapes.
Wow. So crazy.
Very interesting. Yo, cop the book, support the book,
Yeah, man.
the art behind the tape. Love that you're doing this for the culture. This is the
Thank
kind of
y'all.
stuff that's very important.